And so I just want to close with a story that some of you know, because it shows you the importance of one voice. And it's a story about my first trip to Greenwood. Some of you know this story, but I got to tell it again. I was down here at a legislative banquet when I met Representative Parks. I was sitting next to her and I said, "Ann, I need your endorsement." And she looked at me and she said, "Obama, I will give you my endorsement if you come to my hometown of Greenwood, South Carolina." So, Ann didn't tell me how far away it was, that you couldn't fly in there. So I said, "Okay, I'm coming." She tricked me. So the next time I fly in to Greenville. And I get in late, it's about midnight. And I get to my hotel about 12:30. And I'm exhausted. I've been campaigning for 10 straight days. Haven't seen my family. I'm missing my daughters, missing my wife. Yeah, it's a shame. So I'm dragging my suitcase into my hotel room. Suddenly I get this tap on the shoulder. I look back, it's my staff person. He says, "Senator," I said, "What?" He said, "We got to wake up at 6 a.m. tomorrow." I said, "Why?" He said, "Because we have to go to Greenwood like you promised." So the next morning, I wake up and I feel terrible. I feel worse than when I went to bed. You ever had one of those days? I know, see, when you young people, the only reason you have those days is for different reasons than when you get older. Anyway, so I'm dragging myself over to the hotel room window, open up the shades, look outside. It's a miserable day, pouring down rain. I go get coffee and open up the newspaper. There's a bad story about me in the New York Times. I pack up my things. I go downstairs. As I'm walking in the car, my umbrella blows open, and I get soaked. So by the time I get into the car, I am sleepy, I am wet, and I am mad. And in this fashion, I start driving out to Greenwood. And I drive, and we drive, and we keep on driving. Finally, we get to Greenwood. Although I got to admit, I didn't know we were in Greenwood right away. So we pulled alongside a field, and we pulled alongside a park, and we go inside a field house. And I walk in, and lo and behold, there are only 20 people there. 20 people. Who was in that first time I came? I'll bet. Who else came? I know y'all didn't, but who was there? I think, we had like some of y'all there, right there. Am I lying? There were about 20 people there. Now, it wasn't your fault. It wasn't Ann's fault. There had been a miscommunication with my staff. So it wasn't anybody's fault, but all I'm saying is there were 20 people there. After this long drive. And everybody inside the room looked like they had been rained on a little bit. And looked like they were a little sleepy. But, we've learned that every vote counts. So I'm shaking hands with everybody, right? We're saying, "How do you do? What do you do? Nice to meet you." Suddenly, I heard this voice behind me shout out, "Fired up." And I was startled. I didn't know what was going on, but everybody else in the room just said, "Fired up." Then I heard this voice say, "Ready to go." And I heard all these other folks all say, "Ready to go." I didn't know what was going on. So I turned behind me, and I see this little woman. She is, I don't know, about 5'2", 5'3". She dressed like she's going to church. She got a church hat on. She looks right at me and she smiles and she says, "Fired up?" Turns out this woman, her name is Edith Childs, is a city councilwoman from Greenwood. And she's famous for her hats, and she's famous for her chant. And everywhere she goes, she says, "Fired up." And everybody says they're fired up, and everybody says ready to go, and everybody says ready to go. So she came in and she started chanting, remember? And she kept on just chanting. Miss Childs just kept on chanting over. And I'm standing there trying to figure out what's going on. Even after we left Greenwood, every time I saw them, I'd say, "Are you fired up?" They'd say, "I'm fired up, boss. You ready to go?" I say, "I'm ready to go." So some people start putting "fired up, ready to go" on their shirts. And some people start putting "fired up, ready to go" on signs. And suddenly the Wall Street Journal's calling up Miss Childs. And the Los Angeles Times wants to do a story on her. And when we came down and we brought Oprah down to Columbia, and we're in the Gamecock Stadium with 30,000 people, everybody's saying "fired up and ready to go." Oprah is saying "fired up." It goes to show you how one voice can change a room. And if one voice can change a room, it can change a city. And if it can change a city, it can change a state. And if it can change a state, it can change a nation. If it can change a nation, it can change the world. One voice can change the world. So, I want Edith Childs to come on up here right now. After this whole year, I want to know one thing, Edith. Are you still fired up?
Yes, I am.
Are you still ready to go?
Ready to go.
You think these folks are fired up and ready to go?
Yes, I do.
All right. So we just want to know one thing. Are you fired up? Are you ready to go? Edith, hit it.
Fired up.
Fired up.
Ready to go.
Ready to go.
Fired up.
Fired up.
Ready to go.
Ready to go.
Go out and vote.
Go out and vote.
Go out and vote.
Go out and vote.
Senator Obama.
Senator Obama.
Senator Obama.
Senator Obama.
Senator Obama.
Senator Obama.
Will be.
Will be.
Will be.
Will be.
Will be.
Will be.
Our next.
Our
Our next.
next.
Our next.
Our
Our
next.
next. Our next.
Our
Our
next.
next. Our next.
Our
Our
next.
next. Our next.
Our
Our
next.
next.
Our
Our
next.
next. Our
Our
next.
next.
Our
Our
next.
next.
Our
Our
next.
next.
Our
Our
next.
next.
President.
President.
President. President. President. President.
Give it up for Edith Childs. Thank you, Greenwood. God bless you. I'm fired up. I'm ready to go. Let's go change the world.